There was a man named Timothy, and he got cold one day. He knew if he didn't build a fire, he'd be dying. So he built one right away. He took whatever he could find, whatever could be used to give him some heat. He took sticks, twigs, cones from a pine. Once he had it built, beside it, he took a seat. And so there he sat, all by himself, with naught but a coat, a hat, and the fire he built himself. The time passed by slowly, the night enveloping all but where they were residing. This man and his fire staying alive by the comfort it was providing. Then something interesting was happening. Timothy no longer felt like he was there alone. He began to feel happy sitting in the light the fire shone. So, away the time went, seconds feeling like hours and hours like years. Timothy stared with deep intent, gazing within his head were turning gears. He perceived a beautiful flame, dancing and bright right before his eyes. He desired this fire to tame, but had restraint for the pain he'd realize. This was not peculiar in his sight. He was familiar with this feeling. If he wanted to remember, he might. What would such an exercise be revealing? Something stirred within him, similar to a sensation he may have known before. The heat and light became more like a whim, the comfort he desired more and more. Suddenly, and without cause, as if the flame chose to have his presence spurned, the light dimmed down and was losing heat as it burned. He almost started to feel sick. He found lest he desired his dilemma repeat, he had to act and to do so quick, and he jumped up onto his feet. He desired to bring the fire back. He wanted to see it burning again with its full force. He threw in his hat, his jacket, and attacked the surrounding foliage and leafy forest. Everything he found, he burned. He had no care for consequence. He destroyed it all, for he yearned to return what remained in reminiscence. He didn't want to return to that emotion. He didn't want to return to the way that he once secluded. He tossed all as he could, even his coat in. It had to all be fire. Nothing was excluded. No matter what he tried, the fire fell apart and was thus ended evermore. Silently, he sat and cried. Now he faced the problem he had before. And so now we see Timothy. He remembered at one time he had felt similar. You could clearly see on his face the emotions he felt before were familiar. A sudden return to sorrow, his hope ended up receding almost just the same. He did not want to see tomorrow and keep putting up with this game. Whereas he once was in darkness, the sun saw a cue and rose. What kind of a sick test is this? His expression expelled a subtle morose. He wanted to return to the past, to go back beyond when he sought gains personal. He mulled over his next actions, and at last he realized an answer deep in his soul. What was it, you may be asking? I'm not really sure if I know, or if it even matters. Once he rallied himself and started walking, the sun he faced, and with it, future matters. There was a man named Timothy, and beside the dying heat, he found himself residing alone. So, away the time went. You could see the years in his eyes. What he had felt before was spurned. He almost started to feel sick. A fear this situation may repeat in full force kept him once again secluded evermore. And so, we see now Timothy, a man like me, similar but not the same, became a reflection of personal matters. Timothy's flame.